In this weekend update video, I'm going to be covering IBRX, that's ImmunityBio for the layperson. And ImmunityBio has a lot of excitement, a lot of things going its way to start 2026. And in this video, I'm going to get to the technicals, the fundamentals, and everything in between. So stick with me here if you're a fan of IBRX, if you're new to the community, if you just bought, if you don't know what you're doing but want to know more, stick around. I'm going to use this time as an explainer because I'm going to go through people's questions, real people, what they have to say, their questions, their concerns, and I'm going to break this down thoroughly for my audience so that you guys can all tell your friends to like and subscribe. By the way, like, subscribe, and comment. If you're a subscriber, great. Share this video with somebody that maybe can benefit from it. This is biotech. This is cancer curing, cancer destroying medicine, immunotherapy. And we are all here for a reason. Yes, we are here to make money, but we are also here because we all fucking hate cancer and we want technological progress in the human sciences. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Grok says I should do a hook. That's my hook, okay? Grok is my analyst, and he says, do a hook, a 30-second hook to hook people in. I hope you guys are hooked in. Stay with me. Can you do another video explaining Friday's movement? I would surmise that this means Friday's price movement. And I said, yeah, I'll do some TA. But in general, what I want to say, what I want to verbalize is, don't really look at the individual day movements. You're going to have big up days. You're going to have pullback days. I've been doing this my whole life, so it's kind of elementary for me, but I understand it's not elementary for people. So I want to break it down as simple as I can. And Anthony trading with Jesus, I like that. Dr. Soon-Shiong isn't messing around with people. This week will be fire. Sounds like I'm pumping the stock. Well, yeah, I'm pumping the stock because I'm a shareholder for the last, 2026 minus 18? 8 years. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, and I wanted to use my channel to get the word out there. And I'm not only pumping the stock, I'm pumping the treatment, the immunotherapy for all-cause mortality of cancer. Somebody else said I shared on the Reddit page. Thank you very much. Always obliged when you do that. It helps the channel. I'm a conservative investor, but took a large position for me. That's wonderful. When I see conservative investor, and again, you guys have all different types of risk tolerances and return requirements. Somebody might be 22 years old and have huge risk tolerance. Somebody might be 50 years old and have a different type of risk tolerance. Everybody is unique. You think it's still a good buy if it's up 200%? I'm going to get to that. Let's get right into it. All right. IBRX. I'm going to get to technicals first because they're a little bit, to me, they're easier. Technicals are fundamentally easier. So we have what's called a falling wedge here. This is a weekly time frame. This is the Gaussian channel. And if you're above the Gaussian, generally good. If you're below, bad. We just struck the Gaussian and we closed a weekly on top of it, really bullish. This was my, little squiggly from December. I said, watch this 50 level. If we break through, we're going to bust. And usually bust outs look like that. But this bust out, look, it just went straight up. So what I want to say here is on the technical side, we have a falling wedge. This is bullish, okay? Well, if you see a structure like this is actually bearish. It's called a rising wedge or a rising channel. When it makes like this would be a bearish rising channel. And then sure enough, it broke down. And then we have a bullish falling channel for 2 years. This started back in May 2024. And what you can do is you could take this line right here and you can measure from the top to the bottom of where it strikes that bottom here, right around 190. That was the bottom because I was buying it. You take that and you make a measured move. And there's kind of your expected value measured move just from technicals. People like to do this in crypto because crypto doesn't really have any intrinsic value. What does that mean? It means nobody reports earnings in crypto land, so they must use technicals as measured moves. Everybody you see on YouTube will be a TA freak. I like using technicals plus fundamentals because fundamentals are math. It's more than just these squiggly lines of doom and gloom. So in the technical realm, I look at a few things. I look at these patterns because they assign a probability like a 66% chance it's going to break to the upside, and it did. It's not always, guys. Just because you're in a falling channel doesn't mean you're always going to break to the upside. It's like a 66. It's better than a coin flip. And that's exactly what we did. Now, we are at we touched around 8. That was the top. I have a little bit of a concern here as this looks like that long tail and that skinny body. It's a doji or a spinning top. There's many words for it in the geek TA land. But, that could mean a reversal is coming. However, I wouldn't be bearish quite yet because the move just started. What I'm watching here is this volume. I'm a big volume guy because volume indicates interest. Retail interest, institutional interest, short covering interest. So when you have big volume, it's going to force the stock in a direction. In this case, up. And we're going to probably stay in this upward trend for a while, but we're also going to have news events, which is on the fundamental side, carry the price up. So when somebody asks me, can you please explain Friday's price action? Well, this is a weekly, so I'd have to go to a date. I'd have to go to like a 4-hour, right? And so Friday was like right here, right? It was just these 4-hour candles right here. Well, it's just a typical pullback. And if we're on a lower time frame, it carries lower weight. But if you look at the RSI, and RSI is a measure of strength of the move. So higher than 70 is like generally bullish, but overbought. Lower than 30 is generally bearish, but oversold. So if I go to the 4-hour and I see this, you guys are going to like this. I see this small move down on the price. This is a small move. A nice move would be to the top of the Gaussian at like $3.50, $4. Even I said $5. Put in a nice bull flag. Look at this. So this would be called a bull pennant right here, where you have that, and you have that, and that, right? And in this pennant, we can come down to 5, no problem, and still be way bullish. But what I love about this 4-hour on this low time frame is that the RSI completely collapsed. Anytime I can get a play off the 50 level on a bullish breakout, and again, the 50 level is important. Let me get back to that. But anytime we can come, if it came down to only here and it was a small move there, I'd be like, oh, it makes sense. But we came down to here. That means a lot of people that were weak hands, it tells me that they're just hitting out. They're taking gains. So a lot of those weak holders are getting out, and the velocity of the move is captured in the RSI, but it wasn't such a big move. This is the big move right here, this big body. That's a huge move. And then to go all the way down on the RSI and completely reset on the 4-hour with this little, sissy move on the stock price, that tells me that I want to buy when it hits 50, and we're almost at 50. So that's my thinking. Now, this is a weekly, so you're not going to see the RSI. You see a strong move from the RSI, which means it's overbought, which means it's probably short covering. You see what I did here? On the other side of the RSI, 50 reject, 50 reject, 50 reject, boom. And this on the 4-hour, it blasted through 50, and now it's probably going to go 50, reject to the upside, 50, hold, 50, hold. And we're going to put in a move based on the strength of the RSI. And so if you guys are following me here, like, subscribe, and comment. If you're not following me, I'll go more in depth if you need to. But I wanted to make a video for everybody to watch so that people don't get bored. Some people might get bored if I stay on a subject too long. So what do I think of that move? I don't really put too much thought to it. I'm looking for this RSI to cool down a bit, maybe to 70 on the weekly. So what's that going to take? Well, it's probably going to take more consolidation. Why does the price move down? Number 1, profit takers. Number 2, short sellers, loading up more, borrowing more. And then once we get a consolidation, then Patrick Soon-Shiong goes on Twitter and says, oh, just cured 30 people out of 30. What do you think is going to happen? What I'm saying is that TA does not resolve price here. In crypto land, it resolves price. Not so here. It's more FA. It's more fundamental. And when we talk about FA, let's go over to here. I said decent comp here, IBRX. Comparables is how the street derives intrinsic and or psychological value. IBRX is undervalued even at $10 per share, and he makes a fundamental argument why. And I didn't know this because I'm not a biotech freak. I'm a macro strategist. I don't know biotech, guys, but I do know fundamental and technical analysis. And when somebody makes statements like this, I listen because I'm not a know-it-all. I learn from other people as well. Still 20 years in this game, and I'm still learning. I'm still a student. Okay, so let's look at it. He lays out IBRX here, and he lays out the type of cancer, bladder CIS approved. We all know that, right? That's the less common one. Bladder papillary, SBLA PrEP, not approved yet. The FDA's dragging their feet on that for 2 years, right? We all know that. NSCLC, lung cancer, accelerated approval. I asked him a question, is this for Saudi? Is he talking about Saudi here? Because I don't know if it's accelerated approval in America. Yeah, selling in Saudi. So he hasn't answered me yet. So I'm a novice. I have to ask him what's going on with this accelerated approval. But then, boom, all these cancers, as Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong said, they all can be treated with NK, natural killer. Okay? I get passionate about this stuff because all these cancers, to me, they're ubiquitous. What I mean is they can be treated with Anktiva IBRX because IBRX activates the NK, activates the T cell. So all cancers look the same. And this is fundamental analysis because once you start putting this next to another company and using it as a comp, then you can derive value. Let's see what he says. A Korean company receiving a 2% royalty from Merck, that's MRK, for Keytruda. I've heard of them before. I'm not that novice. Has a market cap of approximately $13.7 billion. What does that mean? If you put IBRX sales, revenue, and earnings and market reach next to Keytruda, they can be comparable. So IBRX at $6 billion cap, at $8 billion cap, at $4 billion cap is undervalued. That's what he's saying, and I agree with it. This is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Give him a like, give him a retweet him right there. Boom. And that's all I have to say for today. So I wanted to answer those questions. If you are getting value from this content, come along because it's going to be a fun 2026 for us in biotech land as we are going to make similar breakthroughs in biotech and healthcare as Google, as ChatGPT, as Grok, Twitter is making with AI. And Patrick Soon-Shiong says he's using AI for the manufacturing, which is absolutely effing great. We're going to be there. We're going to do it. Do your own diligence. If you need help on the technicals, I'm here to help you. And the fundamentals, it just comes with time. So thank you for tuning in today. Happy Sunday, and I'll see you in